and you can give your pledge or donation over the phone. You'll probably be talking to our to the legendary John Kane, our longtime program director. You can also send a check and money order to 2101 South Main Street here in Little Rock, Arkansas, 7220206. Or if you're out and about, you want to stop by the station, you can come by that same address, 2101 South Main Street here in Little Rock. And come upstairs and you can see the studio, you can see our offices, you can see, as they said, where the magic takes place every day, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And if you come in, if you come in during the daytime and I'm here, I'll make sure that you leave with something to show our appreciation for you coming here and giving your pledge or your donation, in person. So I want to take a moment to have our co-host greet all of you this morning.
Yes, I want to make sure that I make the announcement that we are 2 days away from the People's Celebration, which is happening on Saturday, May 6th at 6 o'clock p.m. at St. Michael's Episcopal Church, 1241. There will be entertainment. There will be Antonia Bennett. There will be Marquis Hunt and the Mood. There will be people from the community. There will be DJs from the station. Everybody is ready and geared up to make sure that you have a great time celebrating KABF 88.3 FM. This is a fundraiser, so we will be asking you to make a donation, but we also want you to know that no matter how you show up, we are glad about it and we are grateful. So that's the People's Celebration, May 6th, which is on this Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. St. Michael's Episcopal Church.
Okay. And also, how was your birthday on Tuesday?
My birthday. It was my birthday. I had a great time. I mean, I still have work to do, but yeah, it was a great day.
Okay. So today, I want to talk about something. Had a great conversation with Denise and some friends yesterday. We were talking about sports and entertainment. And so,
were we talking or debating?
We were debating. And so, I took some time this morning as I was getting prepared to come to the station and even driving to the station, just thinking about it. And, I know some people will say, well, what does that have to do with labor? Well, in the entertainment field, just like in other fields, there is a union that governs the basically the day-to-day operations between management and whether it's sports for players, whether it's with actors, there's a and within that collective bargaining agreement, they discuss how much money, wage scale, how many games are going to be played, all these different things. Major League Baseball just redid theirs last year, and so many other things. Even when we talk about the U.S. soccer team, the women's U.S. soccer team, they had to go through and they had to restructure their union and how there was the disparity between what the men's soccer team made and the women's soccer team. And I'm not, and I think I'm correct when I say the WNBA also. So as I thought about it, one of the issues that in this debate that we were having was talking about, are athletes entertainers, and my thing, my stance was yes, they are entertainers, but then it opened the door for some other questions. And that's what happens a lot of times. I never did understand. I didn't completely understand this before, but I understand it now. That as you start to have these debates, it opens the door for other questions. And so this morning, I thought about three things. I call it the three E's. The three E's, where all these different things come together. But you can take each one of these entities and have a discussion on each one. But to me, at some point in time, they all come together. So we're talking about entertainment, you're talking about escapism, and you're talking about exploitation. So one of the questions that was discussed was when you look at it's a television show, a reality show, soap opera, and those different type of genres. Is it escapism that I'm watching this? It's just say use a soap opera for example. I'm watching this to escape where I am, I think it was you, Denise, that said that to feel closer, even though I can't have this type of lifestyle, but watching it gives me an opportunity to feel like I am a part of it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so then you look at exploitation, because part of the exploitation is, in sports, is that these players are being exploited for their talents, they're being exploited for their skills. As much money as they make, they still don't make the type of money that the owners make. So basically, I'm paying you, and I think when Jerry Jones, there was a picture of Jerry Jones back in 1950, 50 something at North Little Rock, where he was standing as these black students were not being allowed to go into the school and they were being heckled. And he was standing there and he made the comment, somebody made the comment, a sportscaster made the comment that Jerry Jones was not a racist because, he has made millionaires out of black men. And the comment that, the pushback on that was that, hold up. So Jerry Jones buys and hires the best black athlete he can. They play on a field, and he's the white owner. Doesn't that sound like a plantation? And so there is exploitation going on. But also, the escapism comes in is that if you have this fan who's in the stands, who's paying to watch this, knowing that I can never shoot a three-pointer, I can never fly high and make a dunk like Michael Jordan, but by being there, by paying to be entertained vicariously, I can feel myself, hey, I can live what I can't do through what I'm seeing on the court. So I want to have this discussion this morning because, I want to know how all of you feel about it. Do you believe that actors and what they do are entertainers? Do you believe that athletes and what they do are entertainers? But also, do you believe that that student who's in a drama class in high school, or that basketball player or football player who's playing in high school, are they looking at it as entertainment, or are they looking at it as maybe a way to get out of whatever situation you're in, maybe get out of poverty, or maybe looking at a way that I can make some money, or however, are they looking at it as entertainment? And when does it shift to say that now, at some point in time in their careers, or as they start their professional careers, that now they start looking at it entertainment? So what do you think, Denise?
Well, I think first I need to establish a baseline for me in this conversation, and that is that I grew up in a home with a coach. My father was a coach. First of all, he was a football player for Jackson State University, and he was on the team that won the championship. So he wore his ring until the day that he died. And he also has a son, the middle child in my family, who played baseball as well, but went on to become a basketball coach. So my daddy played football, became a baseball coach. My brother played baseball and became a basketball coach. And so I grew up in a home where we were always, always, always surrounded by athletes, always surrounded by the game, always surrounded by the statistics of the players. Like that's just a part of my life. Growing up in a house with two coaches who were former athletes, they never, ever considered themselves to be entertainers. They never saw themselves as I'm coming onto this field or I'm stepping out onto this court to make you feel good about what you're watching. It was always about teamwork. It was always about character building. It was always about making sure that you had boldness and confidence and fierceness in who you were as a person. And that showed up on the court or that showed up on the field. And that was the way that they, as coaches, that was the way that they cultivated their players. And so I grew up with that understanding that teamwork is something that happens on the court, that happens in practice, but it is lived out in the community. So they were expecting their players to be those in the communities that folks could look up to, that children would look up to them as players to say, this is the kind of person that I want to be, not this is the kind of entertainer. So when we were having the conversation yesterday about, when you step on the court, you're an entertainer, I'm like, when did that happen? Because that's not what I grew up with. And so I was the one that was pushing back. I was the one that was saying, wait a minute, I do not know a player. I'm not saying that they don't exist, but I do not know a player that grows up saying, I'm going to enter into this game, this sport of mine, this craft of mine, this art of mine. I'm created to do this work of basketball, baseball, football, whatever it is, because I'm trying to entertain you. I don't know that person. And so I was having a problem understanding where that mindset even came from.
And so in that aspect, I will agree with you that yes, even as an athlete myself, all those things that you talked about, yes, that was there. Yes. When you are in high school or even college, you are being taught fundamentals, you're being taught character, as you say, you're being taught to be a team player. The shift comes in is when now you are being paid. And that's why I use the analogy of someone who is, let's say, an actor, and they go through the steps, theater in high school, they may be a drama major in college, but the minute they cross over to where now I'm getting paid to do this. And once you start getting paid, now that becomes a whole new mindset because now my job is to entertain. My role is to entertain. I ask people, and I thought about this morning, does anybody know what ESPN stands for? I know. But if somebody else knows, call me and tell me, what does ESPN stand for? And once money becomes the main focus, now everything you do, the majority of what you do is now about the fans. How do I entertain these fans? How do I keep these fans coming into these seats? How do my skill set entertain them? And to give you an example, when I was in college, it didn't matter if I made a layup or I made a dunk. But as I started talking to professional athletes who would practice with us, one of the things they would do is they would spend hours and hours on their dribbling skills, on their dunking skills, because they knew, said, if I come down and I do a backwards reverse windmill dunk, that's going to get the crowd hyped. That's going to get me recognition. If I get put up, if there's a picture of me doing that, then that's going to bring in more endorsements. That's going to give me, when I start to do my next contract, I may not be the best skill player on the team, but the skill I had is going to produce more money for me because now I've crossed over to, if I entertain, if the owner knows that I can entertain, it's going to be even better.
And what I'm saying to that, my response to that is that I don't think that's the player doing that. That's the owner saying, how can I commodify these Black bodies or whoever? Because Black, it's not just Black people on the court, I understand that. But I'm always centering Black folks. And so how can I commodify these bodies to make the money that I want to make off of the bodies? How do I make it so that more people get in the stand so that I can make more money? How do I make it so that it becomes entertainment so that people want to show up? How do I get the vendors in that are going to sell the food? How do I get the vendors in that are going to sell the beverages? How do I make this whatever I need to make it so that I can benefit, so I can profit off of it? I don't think that's the player. I think that's the owner doing that. And so then the player becomes nothing but a product of the owner's imagination for how you can get more money. And so that was my argument. I don't think the player says, I want to be an entertainer. The player ends up trapped in the system of entertainment because all they want to do is play ball. That's what I want to do. I want to show you that I can play ball. I want to show you my skill because this is what I believe I was born to do. Now, it just so happens that the system that I'm caught up in says I got to do these dunks. I got to do this. I got to make. That's not the player's mindset, is what my argument was.
And that's a good argument, but also
somebody answered your question. Morgan answered your question. ESPN stands for Entertainment and Sports Programming Network.
Yes.
Entertainment and Sports Programming Network, ESPN.
That's it. And you take ESPN, when ESPN was first founded, it was founded on that premise. And if you look at sports, and I'm just going to use basketball. So back in the day, basketball was this, it was this fundamental game. Very few dunks. It was just this fundamental teamwork game. When the ABA, for those who remember, the American Basketball Association, it started, and it was really struggling to survive. And so what the ABA did, it decided that why don't we bring an entertainment value? So they came up, the ABA came up with the 3-point shot. They had a red, white, and blue basketball. They had the dunk contest. And they found out that because if we provide another aspect, if we provide entertainment for the people, it did not matter if the teams were good or not. People came in to see this entertainment. And so that's when everything started to change. Even in the NFL, in the early years of the NFL in the 70s, you would have players who would spike the ball, who would do these end zone dances. The NFL banned it. They stopped it. They said, no, we want to keep the game pure. But what happened is the fans started to say, no, we like that. And that's when the NFL became, you know what? We're going to entertain. We're going to let you do these. We're going to let you do all these different type of dances. We're going to let you do all these different demonstrations when you score a touchdown. When a defensive player gets an interception, what does he do? The whole team runs to the end zone and they stand in front of the crowd.
And you can liken all of that to minstrel shows. The way that you use Black bodies to give white people in particular entertainment.
Entertainment.
Yeah, it's a system of entertainment, but you're saying because you've created a system, now I'm the entertainer? You created that because you want to use my body to get however much money you want to get out of it. So don't say that I'm the entertainer. You are the exploiter.
And I don't disagree with that. But the players have now bought into the fact that I am an entertainer. However I got to this point, I'm an entertainer. And if I entertain enough, it's going to help me with my contract. It's going to help me with my endorsements. Because now people, when you start looking at ESPN and you start looking at the highlights And people like, wow, now they're honing in on that player. Michael Jordan, once he started doing all these phenomenal dunks and all these things on the court, all of a sudden they realized, and they said Madison Avenue, which is, when you hear Madison Avenue, that's where all the big ad companies, well, most of the big ad companies, in New York or the country, that's where they're located. Madison Avenue, like, hold up. We can exploit this. We can exploit this. But you can't exploit it. You can exploit it. But Michael Jordan came to understand, hey, you know what? I'm going to give fans what they want because I'm an entertainer.
I think that is a reduction of what the athletes are thinking. I think people like LeBron James, people like Beyonce say, I understand that there's a system in place, but I know how to use this system to become a platform for me so that I can do the things that I need to do in my community, so that I can do the things I need to do to raise the level of consciousness, what's really going on here, so that I can make sure that people understand from my community in particular that there is a fight going on in the struggle. And if I am in this position to have this conversation, I'm going to have it. So for you to continue to reduce them to, I just want to be an entertainer, I just want to make the master smile, that is not what's happening here. We have to stop acting like Black people are only like, I'm just out for the money, I'm just out to be a consumer. No, I realize that this gives me an opportunity to speak to people on a broader stage that I would ever have if I was not an athlete.
I'm not down there.
But that's all you keep talking about. I understand that. I'm an entertainer. I'm going to tap dance for you, and I'm going to make sure that you feel good. I understand my spots, and I'm going to use it to my advantage.
I don't dismiss that, but if that's the case, then you have to play the game. In order for LeBron to be that voice, to have that platform, he understands.
He's going to play the game regardless.
He understands. If I'm going to play this game, and
he's called to be a basketball player.
If I'm going to play this game, and I'm going to have this platform to get the resources that I need to be that voice, I have to become this entertainer.
No, I don't. I don't have to become the entertainer. All I have to do is understand how to navigate the system to get what I need from it, from my people. So don't reduce me to an entertainer. Understand my brilliance and understand how I'm moving in this space.
Okay, I can understand that. But at the end of the day, LeBron understands one thing.
How do you know what LeBron understands?
He has said it.
He has said, I'm an entertainer.
He
has said, I'm
yes, he has.
Whatever.
Yes, whatever. If you have watched his show, The Barbershop, where he brings in all these different athletes, he brings in all these different entertainers, these rappers, these actors, and they have said, yes, what we do is an entertainment value to the people.
To say that it gives value to entertainment is different from saying, I believe I'm an entertainer.
And he has said that, yes, okay. I am an entertainer.
Okay.
Got a call. Call you on there.
Hey, Tony. Hey, Denise. How y'all
doing? Where you been? I ain't heard from you in a long time.
I ain't heard y'all in a long time. I said, hey, y'all going back and forth with that entertainment. Hey, y'all so right, though, because you know what? I hope y'all right. Denise, like you said about your dad. Oh, how your mama doing?
Oh, she's doing fine. Thank you for asking about her.
Oh, I say hello.
I will.
Okay. And you know what? Like you said about your dad and your brother, they independent. They didn't consider themselves to be entertainment as coaches. They did it as teamwork, like you say. And Tony, I agree with you too. Because, hey, it is a plantation, bro. Because you know what? Michael Jordan, he wasn't Michael Jordan before he started practicing. He had to practice like North Carolina. He wasn't no superstar. He had to practice. When other guys was out there partying on, Michael Jordan was at the court by himself. Dunking, shooting, and that's why he was like he was. He was an entertainer. Allen Iverson was entertaining. And Denise, I'm not disagreeing with you. I know y'all going back and forth with it, but you know what? It is a plantation. It's a plantation. Now, there's a white man that's over. They're going to get the best black man they can get. Them books, they call it. Put them to make that money for them. Hey, y'all, I'm out of here.
And so let's move into another context of this. So when you start looking at labor, because all these athletes are workers. That's all they are. They are workers. All these actors, they're workers. And so what they have done is they have created their own unions to say that, you know what, if this is what I have to do, I'm going to get paid for it. However the mindset is, how they're looking at it, how they're thinking about it. If this is what I'm going to do, I want to be paid for it. I want my skills, I want whatever I'm doing to be beneficial and profitable to me. So when you start looking at labor as a whole, you have a lot of workers, a lot of employees who may feel the same way. They may say, like, if I'm a doctor, or I'm a lawyer, or I'm just someone working the line at a fast food restaurant, you know, this is my skill. And we're going back to the skill, because at the core of everything is that when these athletes start, these actors start, or workers start, they have a skill that in that skill, they believe that I should be rewarded monetarily or compensated, however you want to look at it, based on my skill. And so when you start looking at that, employees or workers in all these other fields, and so my skill that I have, that's where the when I said escapism, exploitation, and entertainment, I'm being exploited over here in my job, and I'm using the word. I'm using exploitation out of the three. So here I am working. Here I am with a skill, and the same thing that is governing these other fields is white owners, white business people who are not, the majority of these businesses are white owners. I'm not getting the money. My skill is not being compensated completely the way I think it should be done. And a part of that is when you have a union, a labor, like a professional sports or actors guild, when you have someone speaking on your behalf to make sure that you get the money that you deserve and you don't have it over here, and so that becomes, to me, that's problematic, because why should I get paid for the skill that I have? My skill, my skill, whether it's shooting a hoop, running a football, hitting a tennis ball, or hitting a soccer ball, kicking a soccer ball, my skill is just as valuable. My skill is just as valuable to the people that I serve. So, like, if you go to a fast food restaurant and your food is not the way you want it, I'm like, hey, this ain't what I want. I want what I'm paying for. Well, why can't all workers get what they are being paid for? What I'm doing, I should get paid to be compensated with a living wage based on what I'm doing. Call, you're there.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Well, first of all, I don't have time to really get into any in-depth explanation. But a top flight athlete like Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, and most of all, LeBron, they are not vaudeville clowns. They are top flight athletes. And those brothers, they practice 24/7. They even be practicing when they sleep. No, those brothers earn their money. They are professionals. Thank you. Have a good day.
Want to also thank you so much, Mr. Willie. Want to also let you know that Hotep came in to answer your question as well. What does ESPN stand for? Entertainment and Sports Programming Network. Raman says pro athletes spend most of their time qualifying themselves for their craft. With so little time remaining, we cannot expect them to be well qualified in anything else. Hotep comes back and talks about and says that's capitalism. So I want to make sure that we're getting these comments in from those who are listening to us and then showing up on the web as well. And I want to just ask you, Toney, based on what you just said, do you consider yourself to be an entertainer? Are you an entertainer?
No.
How come?
What do you mean, how come?
What do you mean how you no? What do you mean no? If you're saying that because I have a skill, because you said, because these basketball players have a skill, right? And they're getting paid for what they do. You got a skill, you get paid for what you do. Why aren't you an entertainer? If they're entertainers, why aren't you?
Because nobody is paying me. Nobody's paying me to go out before 1,000, 100, 20, 40,000 people who's going to cheer me on and pay to see me.
But we pay you to show up in the spaces for workers who are in need of justice in the workplace. We pay for that. And people are cheering you on like me. Every time you don't show up here, what I say to the people is we want to be mindful that Toney is out doing the work. We want to be mindful that Toney is out making sure that he is fighting for justice. I'm cheering you on every step of the way when you are absent because you are at a hearing, when you are absent because you are negotiating. Why are you not an entertainer?
So it comes down to this. Yes, you're cheering me on, but just like I said at the beginning, so if you're talking about your brother as a basketball coach, and he's training, he's teaching these. He's
not teaching them to be entertainers.
No, he's teaching them the fundamentals. He's teaching them good character. He's teaching them teamwork. People in the stands cheering. They're in the stands cheering.
Yes, like I'm in the stands cheering for you.
Okay. I've never seen somebody come out the stands and give these high school athletes money.
What are you talking about?
So, you're
getting paid for your job. I don't know why you're bringing up the athletes. I'm asking you. You are getting paid for your job, for your skill as being a labor organizer, and you're saying, but you're not an entertainer. But LeBron James or Steph Curry or whoever the people are that you admire, they're getting paid for their skill. What's the difference?
And the difference is
because people are cheering them on. I'm cheering you on.
The difference is this. They are taking that skill set. And because of that skill set, and because of management or the fans or however you want to look at it, because of that, now they are being told, or they have this mindset that the more I entertain, the more I make you, want to come see me, then that's where you become an entertainer.
You do the same thing. The more you do the work as a labor union organizer, the more people call you to be on a board. The reason you on most of the boards that you are on is because people have seen you do the work as a labor union organizer. And they have come from the stands as a person who is cheering you on to say, I see the work that you are doing. I want you in that space, in this space. Is that not true?
Okay.
So why are you not an entertainer?
So let me say it this way. This is the best way I can say it. I don't realize I'm an entertainer. I don't consider myself an entertainer. When it comes to professional athletes, they do.
Regardless of whether you recognize it or not, you are looking at them and saying, because of this, this, and this, you are an entertainer. And I'm saying I can say the exact same thing about you, but you don't want to be called an entertainer. You want to be called a labor union organizer. You want to be called a community organizer. You want to be called an activist, but yet you are doing the exact same thing, tap dancing for the person that is paying for your work.
And we
do not all do that.
Yes,
do not reduce us to
that.
Don't reduce me to that.
Okay.
I do not entertain for you.
Okay.
That is not why I show up in spaces to talk about injustice.
Okay.
That is not why I show up in spaces to talk about implicit bias. That is not why I show up in spaces to say we need to see who we are so that we can affect and dismantle these systems. It's not because I'm trying to entertain you.
So when we talk about this entertainment, if we broaden it out, so one of the aspects of entertainment is service. So you are serving. However you look at it, you can call it serving. So I'm serving whether it's the master. I'm serving whether it's the fans. I'm in service to them. And part of being in service to them part of it is that yes, I can be described as an entertainer. You know what? When we go to work every day, if you and unless you are self-employed, unless you are doing your own thing, if you go to a job, that means you are in service to that job. That means you are in service to the owner of that job. So yes, it's some things you're gonna have to tap dance for. It's some things you have to swallow for. It's some things you have to back down on. And so you may not call it entertainment, but you can call it service. But they are interconnected.
You the one said you're not the but you would not name yourself as entertainer. You just said if you do all of this.
That's why I said service and entertainment can be interconnected. What you call it?
Oh, so you consider yourself doing service, but you consider LeBron James being an entertainer.
If he says he's an entertainer.
Hey, Tony, Denise.
Yes, we're here.
Hey, y'all, this over with again. Because you work for the union. You know what I'm saying? You represent people, so you entertain a lot of ways. This quarter, how you entertain, though. See, you got an important position. You are a union organizer. And man, you an entertainer, bro, because you entertain other people and help them out, bro.
Hey, you can't spell the fence on this one. You can't spell the fence.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. And so I can understand it. I can understand both sides of it. You know, what I think it comes down to what you believe you are in what you're doing. You know, what you believe you are in what you're doing. And so let me say this. I'm not saying impossible. We know that's not right. But there are those athletes. There are those people who are, when you listen to actors, they will say, hey, this is my craft, this is my skill, I'm here to do this, this, and this. But then you hear someone say, yeah, I'm an entertainer. Yes,
that wasn't your argument yesterday. Maybe, are you changing your mind right now? Because I want to give you room to change your mind. But your argument yesterday was that any athlete, but we were talking about basketball in particular, and your words out of your mouth was that every player understands that they are entertainers. That was those words came out of your mouth. Yeah, do you remember that?
Yes.
So are you changing your mind now when you say no, not it?
You know what? No, I'm not changing my mind.
Okay.
I'm not changing my mind because, like I said, once that money hits the table. And that athlete knows, because they know if I do well enough, if I do well enough, I'm gonna get that second contract.
So why is it different for you on your job? Because if you do well enough, you're gonna get the promotion. If you do well enough, you're gonna get the bonus. If you do well enough, you're gonna get the certificate or whatever. You're gonna be recognized by your bosses. Why is it different for you?
And so, as we were having a conversation, and something was said, and I had to think I had to rethink it on this one aspect. You can call it entertainment, you can call it service.
No, you called it entertainment. You only want to call it service now when we're talking about you. That's the only time that you wanted to change it to service, because now you don't want to say that you're an entertainer.
Okay, so yes, I'm an entertainer. Yes, if that's the concept, if that's the way it's looked at, yes.
It's your concept, Tony.
Yes, and that's why I say whether it's entertainment, whether it's service, it's interconnected. Okay, I don't mind saying I'm an entertainer. I don't. And I don't mind saying that I'm a service person too. But either way it goes.
Is LeBron, are
Either-
these people, are the athlete service people?
Yes, they are in service. They are in service to the people who pay pay their salary. They are in service to the owner. They are in service to management. That's who they're in service for. And the same thing with me. I'm in service to the boss. I'm in service to management.
And all I'm asking us to do is reimagine what you're saying. Perhaps there's somebody out here who's listening that says, wait a minute. I don't have to be in service to the boss. I don't have to be in service to the man. I don't have to understand that my life is about making sure that they profit off of my skill, that I can understand that whatever space I'm in, whether I'm being paid by the man or not, that I'm in service to my community, that I'm in service to myself, that I offer myself, first of all, to me, that I recognize the brilliance inside of me, and I offer that brilliance to my community so that I can make you better. I offer my brilliance to my neighbor so that I can make you better. I offer my brilliance to my children and to the children in the neighborhood so that I can make you better. That's my goal. That's all I'm asking people to do based on your conversation, is to reimagine and to understand there's another way to look at this besides what you're offering.
And I agree with you 100%. Because part of the conversation is to have the dialogue about reimagining. Part of the conversation is to allow people to stop and think, do I have to tap dance for the master? Do I have to be in service to somebody else? Do I have to entertain anybody else? Why can't I? Why can't I be me? Why can't I go out and work, or whatever I decide to do, whatever career I have? Why should it be tied into what somebody else think I should do? And why can't I take my mindset and say, I don't have to be an entertainer, I don't have to be in service, I don't have to do this. I can do something else. I can be something else. I can create something else. That's part of the whole broad conversation. But the reason I started this way is because, first of all, in order to reimagine, you got to realize where you are. And some people don't realize where they are. So if you realize where you are, you start to think, like, I never thought about it like that. So it gives people an opportunity to reimagine.
I just want to continue to lift up and celebrate and honor and respect and see those people who recognize systems. And so for me, when you talk about my life, like, I am a small business owner. And so I am in charge of my own destiny in terms of what it is that I'm going to produce and who I'm going to produce it for. And I recognize that there are systems that are looking and waiting and just to exploit me. But I have the choice to make as to how I'm going to engage those systems and how I choose to refuse those systems. And so there are some people who, yes, they don't even know that they're in this system. Okay, but there are some of us who recognize the system. There are some of us who can name the system. And there are some of us who have the tools to help people divest from those systems. And so I just want people to know that we exist. We are among you. We can help you get out of this entanglement that you are in through no fault of your own, because there's no shame, there's no judgment. The system is what it is, and it's implicit. It is internalized in us. Capitalism, we believe, is a way of life, but it doesn't have to be. And so we started this conversation with you saying all of us are entertainers, and that's what the players do. No, we are not all of us. And so I want to just honor those people who are out there every day, boots on the ground, saying there is a new way of being. There's a different way of living, a different way of loving, a different way of showing up. And there are plenty of us who are embodying that. And we are looking for you, and we are trying to find you, because we want to help you realize that you are not an entertainer, and you don't have to be. Even if you are getting endorsements, that doesn't make you an entertainer. Even if you are being paid to be on that court, that doesn't make you an entertainer. It means that people are recognizing you for the gifts that you have, and there are ways that you can use those gifts to uplift the community, to uplift the world, the nation, so that we can achieve collective liberation. I just want to make sure I'm speaking to those people, because not everybody is stuck like where you started at the beginning.
I don't think you're right. I don't think everybody is stuck there. But until you come to that realization, and it's not a realization that you come to overnight. It's not something that as you grow up or as you grow up that a lot of people don't know that. It's only when they stop to start to think. It's only when their minds are open. It's only when they come in contact with, like you said, people who are already walking, who have already divested from trying to get out of these systems. It's only when they come into conversation or come in contact that their minds start to reimagine.
But I think it's also a conversation about when did you get caught up? Because when I think about you, sometimes we've had conversation about our lives, and you actually come from a space that I didn't come from, that was rooted and grounded in Blackness. You said that when you were growing up, there were environments that were all Black, that people understood that Blackness was brilliance, and so now you understand that we are nothing but entertainers in our Blackness and in our crafts. And I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't even grow up surrounded by Blackness. I didn't grow up understanding the power of Blackness. I grew up in white space. I grew up being the one who tap danced for white people. So when did people like you get to the point that you say, oh, now I'm stuck in this system? You didn't grow up like that.
No, but what happened is that as I and others we watched, because you have to understand, I grew up in a whole different mindset. The mindset we had in the beginning was that Black power, Black is Black, hey, we're going to look out for each other, we together. But then we saw a change. We saw whiteness come in. We saw our Black heroes start to say that, hey, you know what? We have to work together, with white people. We have to be in collaboration with white people. And so then the mindset changed to where you start to look at it, and then you start to realize when you had people, Black people, who would come to you and say, you know what? I'm going to do what I got to do to get what I can get. Hey, if I got to play the game, I'm gonna play the game. If I got to tap dance, I'm gonna tap dance. If I don't have to rock the boat, I'm not gonna rock the boat.
But that's what I hear you say, that you've become that person. You need to understand, Black players, that if you're gonna be in the NBA, you need to understand that you ain't nothing but an entertainer. I understand you to be that voice now.
What I said and what I'm saying is that when we start the conversation about about basketball players being entertainers, what I'm speaking on is that's the mindset that most of these Black players have, or all of them, if we want to put it that way. That's the mindset that they have. Now,
No, what you said yesterday was that the players need to one of the things they come to understand, that they must understand. So that's not the mindset that they have. That you need to understand that this is the system that is creating a different mindset in you, because they don't come to the table with that. Just like most politicians that are Black, they don't come to the table saying, I'm going to be corrupt. I'm going to be involved in this system of politics. They come saying, I want to change things. They come saying, I want to make a difference. And then the system does not allow it. And so
if the system don't allow it, that means their mind has changed. Their mindset, you're saying, has to shift in order for you to function and be successful in this system. Whether to be successful in this system, or as you said with politicians, if I'm going to try to get something done, then I have to have this mindset. It has to shift. It has to shift.
And all I'm saying is that there is a life where you don't have to shift.
It is. I will agree with you with that. That's why we're having a conversation. Caller, you on there.
Good morning, people.
Good morning.
The event that's taking place Saturday at 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Entertainment.
Yes. Yeah, it's gonna be entertainment.
So let's respond to that. But I also want to make sure that we get this comment from the web. It's asking you to define what it means to be an entertainer. But let's just say yes. Let's just be honest about it. I want to be honest with this caller. When we were organizing this event, and as we have continued to plan this event, and we've been working on it diligently. When I say diligently, it is all day, every day. We are sending text messages, we are meeting in person, we are walking up and down the street. We are doing all that we can to prepare for this event on Saturday. And yes, we said in one of the meetings, we need to figure out what would draw the people to the event, what would make them feel like this is something that they want to come to. So who can we find that will entertain them? Who can we find that will be a speaker that they want to listen to? Who can we find that will be a singer that they want to hear? Who can we find that will make them say, yes, this is worth my time? So there's absolutely an aspect of entertainment to what's going to happen on Saturday.
You're right. But let's look at the whole thing. That was not the goal at the beginning. The goal at the beginning was not to entertain anybody. The goal at the beginning was not to put on a show for anybody. The goal at the beginning was, let's celebrate.
Meeting
Somebody
decided
in the meeting
that it isn't gonna, that people will not show up unless they're gonna be entertained. So let's talk about this. People don't show up at church unless they feel like they're gonna be entertained.
Right.
So when you look at these black pastors, what are they doing? They entertain, and they jumping around and they turning around. They entertain because that's what we expect from the people. And I'm saying, people, we don't have to be entertained. Why don't we think about the issues? Why don't we put the truth on the table? Why don't we think critically? We don't have to be entertained, and we don't have to become entertainers. But I want you to answer this. The question is, what is an entertainer? Define that.
To me, and this is just my opinion, it's not coming out of Webster's, it's not coming out of Google. Okay. To me, an entertainer is someone who goes out in whatever way they define, have the way they look at it, who goes out and they're going to do something that they believe people are going to not only like, but pay to watch you do. To me, that's an entertainment. Now, you can break it. I know, y'all, there are those who say, no. Then what about this? And what about that? What about this people? What about that person? And it goes back to something I said earlier. Entertainment and service, to me, are connected. Is you are giving a service. You are doing a service so that someone that it's going to elicit a response, it's going to elicit a compliment, it's going to elicit something from the person or the people who are standing there being involved.
So here's a response to that question from Morgan. Define entertainer. Their job is to entertain others. So a person who deems themselves an entertainer understands in their minds that my job is to elicit this kind of response in the body of the people that are watching me. I want people to feel happy. I want people to feel joyful. I want people to leave with this craving that I want to come back again, that I want to see that again. That is how entertainers are defined. Those people that can evoke those kinds of feelings in your body as they are doing whatever it is that they're doing. So that's one definition.
We have to realize
they have a particular talent for the benefits and enjoyment of an audience. They have a particular talent for the benefit and enjoyment of the audience. That's what an entertainer is.
And I think one thing.
That's from Morgan.
One thing we have to understand, and we have talked about it, you have talked about it extensively today, Denise. It's all about your mindset. It's all about your mindset. It's all about what you believe. Who may be considered
entertainer at all. And yet, when I'm preaching or when I am teaching or when I'm facilitating, people are laughing all the time. They're laughing at stuff that I say. I didn't come here to make you laugh, but that's part of what happens. But do I consider myself an entertainer just because you laughed?
No, you don't have to think that way. In this whole conversation, at the beginning of this conversation yesterday, and I said this, and I will not back down from this. And I said, all athletes, regardless of the sport, inside of them, they had this drive to win, to be champions, all of that, to work as a team, all of that. They have that inside of them. But they also understand that there is a system in place that says you need to do extra, or you need to do this, or you need to entertain these fans, because the number one thing they learn is the fans are the ones. Television are the ones that actually pay your salary.
And what I'm saying to you is that it's 10 o'clock.
It's 10 o'clock. Hey, sorry. Well, nobody coming in. So it's no big rush. Hey, just want to thank everybody for calling in. Want to thank the conversation. I really, really enjoyed the conversation. I learned some things, and I think that's the whole purpose of our shows, is to educate, enlighten, and empower. So the number one thing, you have the choice, you have the right, you have the authority within yourself to define who you are. And you don't have to be defined by a system. You don't have to be defined what other people say. You don't have to be defined by what job say. You don't have to be. You can be defined by who you are. Remember, St. Michael's Episcopal Church. What's the address, Denise?
12415 Cantrell Road in Little Rock, 72212.
Hope to see you there. Please come out and help us help the people celebration together. We rise. Hey, y'all have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you on Monday I'll see you on Monday for Down with Deck. Tuesday for Community Voices. Will not be in studio on Thursday. We'll be working out of town. We'll be entertaining out of town. And so enjoy. Hope to see you Saturday.
The Texas GOP is passing a Death Star law. Will your state be next? Hear about it today on Hightower's Radio Lowdown.